as you said, I'm growing increasingly confident, and maybe that's a mistake, but increasingly confident that this could end up being the worst series of the first 8.
Here are 10 questions for the playoffs. Number 1, bigger chance at an upset, Tampa over Florida or LA over Edmonton? And I know that technically Florida and Edmonton, Florida and Tampa wouldn't be a quote-unquote upset, but yes, it would.
I don't think either one of those I would classify as like an upset, honestly.
I might pick both of those teams to win those series. If I'm choosing LA to beat Edmonton, and we don't necessarily know if Florida is going to be like rolling right away. And I don't think the Tampa Bay Lightning are a team that you can really start slow with. So I think both. I think if you're asking which one's more likely, I'm going to say Tampa.
The other way to phrase that is pick a 2 seed to beat the 3 seed in their matchup, Tampa or LA. You go.
I feel like I have to pick Tampa.
I'm going to pick both, but if I had to pick one, I would pick Tampa because I think that Florida has some question marks in terms of health, in terms of like not hitting the ground running. And I just really like the way that Tampa's playing right now. And they have Vasilevsky.
And Edmonton is the 2 best players on the planet.
Right. Yeah.
Number 2, Connor Hellebuyck's save percentage in the first round. Over, under 900.
Over.
I'll go over. I mean, I feel like you need to add the context.
His last 2 postseasons, Connor Hellebuyck's save percentages have been, I had it written down, I believe, I
know you said they were both below 890.
They were both below 890.
Yeah, but
look at the
teams that he played. Much better than the one that he's going to be playing this year.
Okay.
Fair.
2A, higher save percentage in the first round. Connor Hellebuyck or Jordan Binnington?
Which I didn't realize until this morning. We're getting a 4 Nations rematch.
Yeah, we talked about it being like a hook of this series.
Yeah.
Being the 4 Nations rematch. I'm going to say Connor Hellebuyck.
Sean?
I believe in Connor Hellebuyck this year.
I feel like if I'm saying Binnington, it's for like intangible reasons. I feel like it's got to be Connor Hellebuyck.
Guarantee 1 wildcard series win. Blues over Jets, Canadiens over Capitals, Wild over Knights, Senators over Leafs.
Senators over Leafs. I think the Senators are going to beat the Leafs. And again, it's partially because they're playing the Leafs, but partially because I also believe in the Senators.
I'm saying Canadiens over Capitals. We are very like diametrically opposed in terms of like, I think that the team that you bet to win the Stanley Cup is going to lose in the first round.
Love that.
Who did you bet?
I have not actually placed my bet. I am going to place bets on both the Avs and the Leafs. I'm more rooting for the Avs. The Leafs are more of a like, no one's talking about them. There's all of this like dumb shit that suggests that they should win the Stanley Cup.
So
kind of vibes.
Avs,
but the Avs are my
decision,
team.
Emotional decision. Toronto,
yes.
Business decision.
No, I'd say Avs are business decision.
Okay.
That's the one team I actually think is going to win the Stanley Cup. Toronto is more of like a vibes thing.
More points in the first round. Mikko Rantanen or Martin Necas?
Oh, I like that question. I will say. I honestly think that both are not going to play that many games. I was trying to think of like the games matchup, but like if
I'm going HS.
Yeah, I'll say Necas.
Amazing. Yeah. More points this postseason. Here's a fun one. How could we not do this?
I would just clicked for me. I was like trying to compare the games.
Yeah, that's why I was like,
fucking series. I was like thinking of Rantanen still on the Carolina Hurricanes for some reason.
No, yeah, I'm sorry, in their series. More points this postseason. Evan Bouchard or Evan Rodriguez? That's fun for a few reasons.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's just like it's a question of who's gonna last longer more than anything.
I'll say Bouchard. I have more faith in his role on a team that I'm like unsure will get out of the first round.
I think I probably will say Bouchard. Yeah, I think like Bouchard is just like, is Evan Rodriguez on their power play?
And so that the thing is, the Panthers could win a round, the Oilers could lose a round, and Evan Bouchard would still have more.
Yeah, I mean, like,
through 2 rounds.
I feel like neither team should want Evan Rodriguez to end up with more points than Evan Bouchard. I feel like that's not a great sign for either.
Okay. Pick 2 teams to win the NHL draft lottery. I will remind you that teams can pick one are the Sharks, Blackhawks, Bruins, Preds. It said Reds in my. I was like, Sharks, Blackhawks, Preds, Bruins, Kraken, Flyers, Sabres, Penguins, Ducks, Islanders, Rangers. Pick 2 teams to win.
Who we
meaning
want
like
or
to move
think?
up.
Want or think will win.
Just pick. Just get
Bruins twice?
I'm going.
Bruins win the first and second pick.
Yes.
Penguins, big jumpers, Penguins, and
That'd be such a bailout. I'd be so pissed about it.
yeah. You know what? Just because no one's talking about them, or I think would want them to. Seattle Kraken.
Ooh, fuck that. Fuck that. Like they need it. They
exactly.
They might be the team that like needs it the most, but fuck that. They should not be rewarded for just being like unbearably mediocre.
Biggest bailout would be Penguins 1, Bruins 2.
No, at least the Bruins tanked. Like at least the Bruins
deserved it.
stripped themselves of parts and effectively tanked. The Kraken, I think, would be the most undeserving.
Also, I feel like we didn't spend enough time talking about the fact that like the Penguins, they finished like 8th worst. Like I thought they were going to be like a bottom 3 league in hockey or bottom 3 team in hockey, and they were just like so shitty that they couldn't even do that.
That's the problem with having still some great players on a team that sucks.
Yep.
Better save percentage in the first round, Jacob Markstrom or Linus Ullmark?
Linus Ullmark, because if I believe that the Senators are going to beat the Leafs, Linus Ullmark is going to have to be a big part of that.
I'm going to say Markstrom because I think he is going to have to kind of go apeshit if he wants to give them any opportunity. More so than Ullmark.
Here's a fun one. More wins in the first round, Canadiens or Wild?
Canadiens. I just think, especially with the way that the Capital season has ended, I could see them dropping a game or 2 at the beginning, and I think the Wild are going to get swept.
I would agree with that, and especially with the Montreal of it all, being at home, having that atmosphere, the vibes of that group. I do think that Montreal has a good opportunity to take like 1 or 2 games. I think the Wild are probably out in 5.
I'm having a lot of fun, and I'm loving your answers. We got to do this more often. Last year, Pierre-Luc Dubois was traded during the playoffs. Does a team make a splash in the trade market during the postseason? And if so, who?
That's a good question.
It's a thinker.
I'm going to make a splash. I feel like the Pittsburgh Penguins are going to do something. I don't know if it's necessarily acquiring somebody. Maybe. I guess they'd have to if they're sending someone out. But like, I feel like the Penguins are candidates to make some kind of move during the playoffs.
Win the lottery and trade the first overall pick for an aging veteran.
You win the lottery, then you trade Mike Sullivan, and then you hire David Carl, and you're set.
What if we got a Sidney Crosby trade during the postseason? That would be the best.
It'd be such asshole behavior.
I will say the Vancouver Canucks, because the Vancouver Canucks could trade Elias Pettersson. You could trade Brock Besser's remaining rights.
I don't know if that would count, but yeah. Like, I don't know if that counts as a splash, but yeah.
I guess it more depends on who's the acquiring party in that situation.
Yeah. I think that, like, if you're talking about a team that is going to make the acquiring splash, maybe I would go like Detroit Red Wings.
And remember, the team that made the splash last year was a playoff team. So it was a team that got eliminated and then was like, all right, let's work the phones.
I mean, Foxman in the chat, the Rangers, I feel like, got to do something.
Ooh, how about this?
I don't know what it is.
The Minnesota Wild. If they get an early exit, they got all that money coming off the books. They got some money to play with.
Yeah.
So the Minnesota Wild could be that team.
The problem with the Wild, I feel like, is that that money, I feel like, is more likely to be used in free agency than like.
Wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Got to bring it home with this. Over under Cody Ceci goals 0.5.
Under.
You just don't see the magic for the Stars.
I mean,
here's
the problem.
I know where you're going
the
with
likelihood of getting to Game 7 in that series, it's seemingly dwindling, and I don't have a lot of faith in Cody Ceci scoring a goal outside of a Game 7.
Yeah,
that's fair. And if they get to Game 7, we are We're each putting like $500 on Cody Ceci to score a goal, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think as you said, I'm going increasingly confident, and maybe that's a mistake, but increasingly confident that this could end up being the worst series of the first 8 of the first round.
We all silly like the mayor.